Hey friend, I'm back with another miniverse Make It Mini Lifestyle Series 2 ball. And today we have a pinhole right here on top of the end, and this pinhole is going to get you the planter duo. So let's open up our ball and see all the things that come with it. In our first blind package of the day, we have our resin, and our resin today is clay. And then we have this sprinkle bottle, and on it, it says it's speckle. In our second blind package, we have our indoor mix, in other words, our dirt. And then our third blind package, we have our mold that we're going to be using to make our pots. And then we have our stickers for the pots, as well as sandpaper if we need. Our utensils today, we just have this one knife and then our tweezer. And lastly, our star of the show, we have our plants. And they are so cutesy. Our instructions for today are pretty simple. We just mix the speckle into our clay resin and then we pour it into the mold and let it dry. And we're going to do that 2 times. So first I'm going to grab my clay resin and then I'm going to mix in the speckle to my liking and then we can get started on the mold. And now I'm going to grab the tool that came with this ball and just mix up my resin and my speckle all together. This miniverse is pretty easy all around, but this part is definitely the easiest. I'm just going to add a little bit more of the speckle before mixing it and getting it ready for my mold. And we have this plastic piece here that our silicone mold fits very nicely into, and it'll help your mold to stay put when you're letting it dry and just stay upright. So I'm filling my mold now with my clay, and I'm kind of having to push down the center of the mold so that I can get all the clay to go to the bottom because it was just kind of filling at the top and not going down. But I figured it out, and so I'm getting it, and I'm just making sure that the whole silicone mold is filled and there's no like bubbles or any open spots in there, because if there is, I'm going to have to fill it up some more so that we can have a nice full pot. So now I'm going to top off my silicone mold with some resin, making sure not to overfill it because I do want this to sit flat. The instructions say to let it cure for 10 to 15 minutes and then flip the silicone mold over and let it cure for another 10 to 15 minutes out in the sun. It doesn't take that long, but if you're doing this yourself, just be careful not to pull it out too soon as it might be a little bit wet still, and then you'll have to go cure it again. But mine's came out okay. I'm taking out my second pot here from my silicone mold, and they both came out so pretty. I noticed that most of the speckle just kind of sunk to the bottom, which is the top of the planter pot, but I think it's still adorable nonetheless. So now let's add our faces onto our pots, and then we can put in our soil and our plants. So I chose the face I wanted and I cut it out. And the instructions were not clear on this part. I thought this was a sticker that I just stick and peel, but it in fact was not. So I'll show you on my second face how I ended up doing it. I chose my face for my second pot and then I put it on. And what you have to do is basically like scratch it on. Like it won't go if you just press it. So I used my tweezer to kind of like really press that thing on there or scratch it in a way. And then the decal came off onto my planter pot. Whereas the first time I tried doing it, it was not working. So it came out perfect doing it that way. Now I can go ahead and grab my indoor mix and fill my pot so that I can get those cutesy little plants in. And for this part, I am mostly filling the whole pot with this soil, but I'm leaving a little bit of space at the top so that I could add my plants in and then top it off with more soil to finish it off. I'm surprised that Miniverse didn't give a shovel or some other type of gardening tool to do this part. I just had to use the same tool that I used to mix my clay resin and my speckle, and it worked okay, but I was thinking this whole time, like, why do I not have a shovel for this? But if you've been watching me since my first videos, then you know that I've been having some problems with Miniverse here and there. Like sometimes their Miniverse is a hit, and then sometimes it's like, come on, y'all being stingy. And so maybe they were a little stingy not adding a shovel, but you know how it goes. I always make it work. I make do with whatever I have and try my best to get the best outcome for my miniverse that I'm making. And everything was going okay, but after a while, my indoor mix started getting sticky and it was really sticking to my tool. So I ended up having to use the back end of my tweezer to kind of push everything flat. And it came out really, really good. And for this video, I wanted to show you how you can use the outer ball of your miniverse. So it comes with these little legs that you attach to the ball, and then you can use it as a stand for your miniverse that you've made. So I'm going to go ahead and put my little planter pots in there, and I think it makes such a cute display. I just love it so much. I mean, just look at these beauties. This looks like something you would see inside of a spa. I do have a bit of a green thumb, so this miniverse definitely makes me feel so happy inside, and I just really adore it. I love looking at it. Thank you for making this miniverse with me today. I always have the best time with you. I can't wait for us to make our next miniverse together. I'll see you then. Bye.